In Matthew 3, verses 1 through 4, it says, "In those days John the Baptist appeared in the desert of Judea, announcing, 'Change your hearts and lives. Here comes the kingdom of heaven.' He was the one of whom Isaiah the prophet spoke when he said, 'The voice of one shouting in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord, make his path straight.' John wore clothes made of camel's hair with a belt around his waist. He ate locusts and wild honey." When I read Matthew 3 this morning, it reminded me of the wildness of John the Baptist, how he's described and what he wore and what he ate and the passion with which he spoke. You know, in art and in the movies and in way that he is portrayed, he's seen as someone that stands out from the crowd in his appearance and the passionate way he speaks. He's very persistent. I've wondered about people that stand out as different in my own life and how I have made judgments about them with just a glance. When I first came back to work in Lincoln about 10 years ago, I became aware of a colorful figure who walked the streets of Lincoln, often wearing outlandish outfits and pushing his shopping cart full, of what looked like junk to me. I'm sure they are treasures to him. You know, I could see Todd playing the role of John the Baptist if we did a production based on our town here in Lincoln. My favorite outfit I remember seeing him wear is he was in a busy intersection and he had on pink scrubs. It always makes me smile to see him. And many communities have a Todd. Sometimes we make judgments about how people look in an instant based on what they're wearing, what they look like, how they speak, the foods they eat, or the color of their skin. I wonder about those who heard John's message and saw him in his otherness, if it put people off, or if it made people smile, or maybe even frighten some people. And yet there he was, fulfilling the role for which he had been sent. He prepared the way for Jesus. In Matthew 3, John tells us that he baptizes with water, but the one for whom he prepares baptizes with fire and the Spirit. He then expresses how unworthy he feels to baptize Jesus when Jesus asks him to do so. And yet, he is used in this moment for God's purposes. What we see and hear next is a picture of the Trinity. God the Father speaks, the Spirit descends as a dove, and the Son is baptized by the wild and passionate John. So, here's a reminder for today. Do not judge a person by their appearance, their clothing, their skin color, their age, the way they speak, or their cultural heritage. God often uses the most unlikely people, like you and me, for important work, for reconciliation and healing, for sharing the good news of God's love. So next time you see your Todd or anyone who might act or look differently from you, remember that they too are beloved children of God, made in God's images for God's purposes. Now as we get ready to pray, let's turn to one of our lectionary readings for today. In John 7, verses 37 through 39, Jesus invites those who are thirsty for more than water to come and be filled. Let that sink in and inspire our prayer. Lord, we thirst for you. We long to be filled. We empty ourselves to be filled by your Spirit and to see your face in every face we meet. Use us to work together to bring your kingdom here on earth as it is in heaven. Amen. Go in peace.